and Happy New Year! And also today it is Orthodox Christmas, which is celebrated in many countries, including Russia. So to everyone who celebrates, Merry Christmas. And today, as a New Year themed video, I wanted to talk about expectations and why I think that having expectations is not a very good approach to life, and how my life has changed after I sort of changed my attitude towards expecting things from people in life. So I think that expectations are destructive not only towards your relationships but also towards a lot of other things in life. And as an example, let's talk about relationships first, because I think that it's one of the most important things in life. First of all, when you meet another person, it can be a friend or a romantic partner, whatever it is, you meet a person and you usually don't really know who they are, and you don't have an understanding of what kind of a person this person is. And so you create an image inside your head of another people, and you start expecting things from them, and you start expecting them to act according to this image that you created inside your head, which again has usually nothing to do with the reality, and it usually has nothing to do with what kind of a person this person actually is. So you sort of idealize people at first, and then you start evaluating them, and it causes you a lot of disappointment, and I think that it can break a lot of relationships. So especially with the people who are close to you, I think a lot of people expect others to know what we are thinking at the moment, and they expect them to meet our needs even though we don't communicate these needs to our partners and friends, and no one can actually read our minds. And so if you want something from a person, you should definitely tell them, and you shouldn't expect other people to know what you want and what you need and meet these expectations, because it is just impossible. No one can really read your mind. I think that it also leads to some passive aggression and just general worsening of a relationship, because you start accumulating these little things that you expect other people to do and they don't do for you. And even though you understand that basically they don't owe you anything, and you probably understand that it's just your expectations, but you already kind of want it to happen in your head, and you think like it should happen. So you don't understand that other people don't really owe anything to you, or if you expect them to do something, it doesn't mean that they have to, because honestly I don't think that anyone owes anyone anything. And a lot of times people do things in order for other people to do something in return, and I think that it's very destructive in very many ways. And I think that it would be so much better if people would only do things that they do out of pure love and friendship and whatever it is. Because if you do something nice to another person, especially in relationships, you expect them to return the favor, or you can say later like, I did this to you, now it's your turn to pay me back, but they didn't even ask you to do anything for them. So basically you expect them to pay you back for something they didn't ask for, which again even sounds really destructive. So I don't think that it's a very good approach to life and relationships. And the last thing I think that expectations bring to relationships are trying to change people, because when you create this image in your head in the beginning of your relationship, or not in the beginning, sometimes we are in relationship with a person for a really long time and we still have no idea what they actually are, because we have this image in our head and we don't even care to go and see if this image is actually accurate or not. So we try to change and mold other people into our image of what they should be, and you can never change another person, and it will only bring more aggression and more trouble into their relationship, because people are who they are, and you either accept them or not. And so you either leave the relationship or you accept the other person the way that they are. I think that there is no other way. You shouldn't expect anyone to change for you or to change to become the way that you want to see them. As for life in general, I think that there are so many things, including people and nature and so many aspects of life that we have basically no control over. And a lot of times we expect something to happen which doesn't, and then we feel very disappointed. And I think that disappointment is the major thing that expectations bring into our lives, because of course it's good to have an image of what you want to happen or of what you would ideally like things to be like, but you should keep in mind that most likely it will not happen, or it will happen differently, because there are so many variables that we cannot even think of when we think about what we want to happen or our expectations and stuff like that. So I think that it's very, very, very important to understand that it's good to have plans and wishes and desires, but you shouldn't expect your life to be a certain way or especially look a certain way, because most likely it will not happen and you will only feel disappointed. I think that also a lot of times expectations prevent us from seeing the opportunities that are outside of our vision, and we miss valuable experiences and a lot of great chances to change our life or do something amazing because it doesn't fit into our picture, and we are so close-minded that we only keep our eyes on what we want and what we expect, and we don't really look at the opportunities that don't fit 100% into this picture, but they may lead to something even more beautiful and more amazing than what you think that you want or what you expect to happen. I would like to give you an example of how having expectations was ruining my life in very many aspects, and after I changed my approach to it, how much better my life became. And I want to start with the holiday season because it was just there. My entire life I loved the New Year's Eve because, as I said, in my country it's the main winter holiday and it's a magical night, and you really feel like you are in a fairy tale, and with all the lights and fireworks and presents, and you know, it's just such a magical time in December as it is, because it leads up to this and you raise your expectations higher and higher and higher, and you want to plan an amazing celebration. You want this night to be so special. You want it to be a night to remember, but then usually what happens is it's actually just another day. You can even miss it and not celebrate it, and nothing will really happen. It doesn't really matter because it really is just another day. And this realization changed my life to so much better, because before I would have so many expectations and I would think that something magical should happen, my life will magically change to the better, and then I realized that I'm the only person who can change my life for the better, first of all, and then it's just another night. Yes, it is a wonderful celebration and it's another opportunity for you to be with your family and your friends and share the love, and you know, but it's just another day. You don't have to put so much pressure on yourself and on everyone around you to make it perfect and to have some unbearable fairy tale-y expectations of what will never happen. After I didn't celebrate it at all last year, I actually felt so good because the next day I didn't have this huge disappointment. I used to be so depressed on January 1st of every year because it didn't live up to my expectations, and I was just so devastated and so disappointed. And every January 1st of every year I used to cry so much, and I was just like, I really was so down, because basically it's just people getting run together, and as every such event, it doesn't really turn out to be this magical or this awesome. So yeah, and now I just accept that it won't be perfect, and I just have fun and I go with the flow. And this year I only celebrated with 2 of my parents. I didn't stay up all night, and yeah, it was still amazing. Also, with relationships in my life, I used to be very possessive of my friends, and I expected them to like be faithful to me, and I was very jealous if they would go out with someone else, and I was this kind of a friend who would do a lot of things for their friends, and I expected something in return, and I didn't even understand that I actually expected something in return. I don't do this anymore, and honestly I don't feel this way anymore, and I just accept that everybody has a right to do or not do whatever they want to do or not do. And so if my friends choose to spend time with me, I'm happy. If they choose not to, I am totally fine on my own, and I don't feel personally harassed with it. I also don't expect like presents for holidays, because honestly no one in the world owes you anything. And so if people choose to do stuff for you, that's awesome, that's great, and you should feel grateful for that. But if they choose not to, then it's certainly their right, and you shouldn't be personally attacked by that. And if someone chooses not to be your friend, who you want to be your friend, or if someone that you like as a romantic partner doesn't want to be with you, it is totally their right, and you shouldn't feel rejected or neglected or whatever, because no one really owes anything to anyone, and also you don't owe anything to anyone. This is also very important to understand, and you shouldn't leave to the expectations of other people, because it's your life. You only have one life as far as we know, so make the most of it. You have total control over yourself and your life, and you can change it to the better anytime, but expectations are usually standing in your way to a better life. So I suggest not having a lot of expectations, but having plans and dreams and working towards them, but not expecting anything, especially from people. So I hope you found this somewhat entertaining or educational, and I will see you in the next videos. Thank you so much for watching, and being as humans. Goodbye. Hi and Happy New Year. And also today it is Orthodox Christmas.